Okay, we're going to go over some beaver here. I am going to show you something on measurement on these, but these are very well handled. The nose is trimmed off like it's supposed to be. The ears are cleaned out good. And we're stretched a little bit hard. You see it starting to tear a little bit. That was pulled a little bit tight. When you look at a beaver, you look and we got nice clear leather. Okay, that's the first thing. That makes it pretty simple. Flip it over. You don't see any clips. You got good consistent guard hairs. It's good beaver. You know, just measurement and goes as a 1-2. Okay, the measurement, and we get this question at the sales a lot. If you leave the nose, and I see people do it, they leave the nose and all the tissue, and then they try to pull the nose up, and then they pull a point down in the bottom. That doesn't make it a bigger beaver. It's just a beaver that's not stretched right. You know, follow the pattern, give it a good shape, and you can do one of two things. The easiest thing for me is I go here, back leg, go through the front leg, that's 32, that's a 64-inch beaver. Now, you do this way, then you come over to the side, and it's about 62. Okay, it's going to put it in the same class. If you do leave the nose on, you add that extra inch or a little more here, you're basically the same thing. So on a properly stretched beaver, going corner to corner through the leg holes and then just doubling it, it's going to give you the same measurement as length and width. And it's actually a little more accurate because of the fact that you don't have this waist up here. So anyway, there's a nice beaver, nice clean leather, a little bit of scar marks aren't a big deal. I don't see old healed up bite scars. That's major on the beaver. Okay. Now, we're going to look at one. This is a great big beaver. Typically on a great big beaver, they're thin. They're rubbed. They're going to have damage. Okay. And it is a little bit weak back there, but for a big beaver, this one doesn't look too bad from the fur side. Let's see, I got a spot there that's weak. We flip it over. An old scar there, fresh scar there, spots down here. That's from the beam. You know, that's from the fleshing knife on it. We got a little bit of a spot here. We're going to see what that is. Okay, what that was is, oh, we can see it in there. There's a little matted up spot, and that's what this is where there's a matted up spot. So that's where making sure that everything is clean before you put it on the beam, because that little matted up spot caused a thin spot when it was being beamed right there. And there's a chance that that's what these were too. There was a little lump or something down underneath there. You know, it's in the hatter market, it doesn't matter. You know, it would probably go out as a slight damage in the fur market, but hatter market, it doesn't matter. But for a big beaver, that's clean. You know, you don't have much on the way of damage on the leather. Okay. Now, little smaller beaver, see the snare line right across there? Okay, that's automatically going to get this downgraded when you've got a snare back there. Now when you see a damage here, you see a spot here where it's going to have a little rub on it, you know, this is going to go as a slight, you know, I wouldn't throw this out as a number 3 because it's got good coverage, it's got good density, it's a good fur, and the snare doesn't look like it cut too bad, but you do have that, so that is going to get tossed out. That's not going to go as a 1-2 because of these spots and the snare line. Okay, here's another one with a snare mark. Up here, generally the snare isn't really going to bother it. You know, you're up further forward on that tougher skin, but these dark spots. That's where an issue will come in on this. There's matted up fur here where that dark spot is. You know, that tells me he's starting to shed right here. And how much more shedding is going to happen when you dress it. So that one's going to get kicked out too. You know, that's not going to grade as a 1-2. Okay, the last one we got here. This one, the whole thing looks a little dark. You know, a little pinhole there and a little bite mark there. I don't really see bite marks in the skin proper, but I see this dark, and that's going to make me look at it a little bit closer. And there's a snare mark across there, but again, it's up front. Okay, looks good on this side. It looks like it's got good coverage. It does feel a little bit short. It doesn't have the density down underneath, and it doesn't quite have the length. And that would be, like I say, when you see this dark leather, it still wasn't quite prime yet. Even though it's an Ohio Beaver and was taken after December 26th, it is just a little bit dark. It's a little bit thin and a little bit coarse. So Beaver are more cut and dried. I mean, they're like muskrats. You see the leather, you can see the fur. They're properly handled, size them, and go down the